by Riverside.
Hello, and welcome into the Sad Van, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made us sad from what feels like the last decade, because we have been off the air for far too long as a duo, and you can see we still have one missing piece. So she will be producing in the background, and that is, of course, Taylor Stone.
We miss you,
With
Taylor.
you have? What was that?
I said we miss you, Taylor.
We miss you, Taylor. Can't wait to have you back on air. With you today, you have your hosts, Fry and Wesley Watkins.
Jazz hands.
In support of last week's episode, hopefully some of you will get this reference. Hola, chico. All right, so I know you don't get it.
You lost me. I wasn't there.
It happened so fast. But as always, we're going to start off with what made us sad from the previous weekend. And I will tell you that what made me sad is watching Antonio Brown still grasp for attention. Using a tweet that was not his own when he stated that his biggest regret is that he'll never get to watch himself play after a slew of things like the Raiders incident, the Steelers incidents, the Buccaneers running off after flashing the crowd his titties. And you're already rolling your eyes. You're already annoyed.
Nice boobs.
Oh, great body. He's absolutely an Adonis. I do not take away from that. But I mean, the antics are a little bit much. I mean, it's a lot of, I think I'm better than I actually am. And I think he could have been, right?
Yeah.
He could have been.
He was giving off Kanye vibes.
Definitely giving off Kanye vibes. Definitely giving off maybe CTE, or maybe he's just that person. You know, maybe that's just who he is. I don't like to make excuses for people like that, but you know what? I am going to miss his greatness before the great psychosis, I guess, is what he's going through now.
You mean his Steeler days?
Yeah, I mean, those days when he revitalized the broken Ben Roethlisberger that we saw running around out there, just with only the bottom part can move in his right arm towards the end of his career. It was very, very minimal. But him just still grasping for that attention and wanting to put into the media that he wants to come back for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that'd be the worst. I really, truly think that'd be the worst. But enough giving that guy attention. He doesn't need any more attention. What made you sad from the weekend?
Not really the weekend. It was a little bit ago, but Brittany Griner being imprisoned in Russia. She's found guilty. She's 9 years, I think, was her sentence for like a marijuana concentrate vape pen. It's kind of it's a little harsh. But yeah, it's I don't know.
It was a maximum of 9.5 years that she could have gotten.
I think it was a maximum of 10 years.
Was it 10?
Yeah, and she got 9.
So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I just feel like she's kind of being used as like a political pawn, and which is sad, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and those of you that follow me at the Sad Fan on Twitter, you'll see that I posted the moment that ruling came out that she is now officially a prisoner of war. In my opinion, she's a prisoner of war. There's no reason for this punishment. She's apparently done this multiple times in Russia.
Really?
Her lawyer had come out and said that it was prescribed to her by a doctor for that amount, and it's a very minimal amount. I think it wasn't even marijuana; it was THC, right? It was a vape pen with THC.
Yeah,
prescribed to her for anxiety. So she's a prisoner of war. Putin is, no penis, and he's like no penis. And we get that about him. He's a tiny, itty-bitty man that photoshops his head onto big buff bodies.
His Napoleon.
He's got a Napoleon complex, and he's accomplished nothing. And he started a war with a country that wasn't at war with him for no reason. And much like North Korea and China, I shouldn't have said China.
I mean, he had good reason in his mind, money and land.
I don't think that's the reason, man. Do you think that's the reason? I think it's legacy. I think he doesn't believe he has a legacy, and a lot of people like him believe they can get that legacy through, to quote Spartacus, blood and sand.
I don't know. I think it was, yeah, could be legacy, could be money, land,
Could
but
be a tiny penis.
yeah,
So
probably that too.
just un poquito pene, un poquito pene. Just it sucks. It sucks, especially out here in Europe. People want to talk about it, but they talk about it very cautiously, right? But with Brittany Griner being caught in the middle and them trying to negotiate her for the Merchant of Death, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, and a convicted murderer.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be stuck there. I think she'll get out early because like things change, like with the politics and stuff like that. But I think she'll be in there for like at least the next year.
Which is awful. Which is awful because there's really no reason for it. And the most anti-American thing that I've seen is a lot of people that claim to be American, real Americans, come out and go, she broke the law, guys. She broke the law. They have laws everywhere. And then when Trump gets investigated by the FBI, they're like, let him go. Let him go. What'd he do?
But
fuck the FBI. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but you get it, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing, right? When it comes to a woman of color, let's call her a woman of color, but she's a black woman who is a lesbian, a well-known lesbian. Like, oh, she broke the law. But when it comes to a real criminal who has been proven to be a criminal on in multiple instances, like, no, give him a break. Like, shut up already. Like.
Well, I think so. I don't typically agree with Joe Rogan a lot, but he also had a good point. Is we still have a lot of people, I mean, locked up for stupid shit like this too here in the States.
Yeah, and all those sentences need to either be washed away or abolished, depending on case, right? Depending on severity and what happened, because we don't know all the stories, good or bad, right? We don't know them all, and that's a fact. So we can all have opinions on shit we don't know about, but this one we do know about because it's a fairly famous face. She won a national championship at Baylor, right? So,
I mean, I don't know what her workout schedule is like, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, her playing days are done after this.
I don't know, man. We got steroids in today's world, and you can bounce back real quick. So I don't want to go off on that tangent quite yet, but we'll get there. Don't worry, the steroids are coming, and we're gonna put her right in your veins soon. But all that leads to another controversial topic, right? I touched on it a bit, and yes, I jested because I don't like real war criminals being allowed to walk amongst us, real people that have committed treason being allowed to walk amongst us, and it seems to be going on with this golf tournament. Right at LIV, all of a sudden it's become the treasonous golf tournament.
I mean, it's definitely become like the MAGA tournament. I feel like so the last tournament they hosted at Trump's golf course, and Trump did a pro-am with like two of the players, and then there was,
and that guy looks like he could just die at any minute. I saw the pictures of him, and I'm just like, that guy's he's gonna keel over. I think he was quoted once saying he's the most fit president ever, and I'm like, bro, you look like the doughboy.
Yeah, he's definitely not fit. But,
so sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead. So
I think he's a decent golfer, though. I mean, to be honest, but but like there was a video that I saw on like Instagram or like TikTok or whatever, and when they were cheering off, everyone in the crowd was just chanting like MAGA and like 2024. And it's like, I mean, it's interesting just seeing like the dichotomy between the two tours now. It's like one of the tours is, I mean, the LIV Golf Tour is like embracing, it feels like the right almost. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get like too political, but at the same time, LIV Golf is getting political, and it's like something you can't really ignore.
I mean, but when we get down to it, there's bodies buried in everyone's backyard.
Yeah.
Just being fair to everyone. Everyone has made their mistakes and screwed things up, but not as recently as a journalist had her neck sawed off, right? Yeah. and again, that I'm not saying everyone's terrible on that side, but that side likes to prop itself up as true patriots. Well, guess what? Part of being a true patriot is journalism and freedoms, and real freedoms, not what you decide is allowed to be free. And the country that sponsors this, right? It's a Saudi-sponsored tournament, and I'm all for it. Golf should have free agency. Golf should have free agency, and it sucks that I'd have to look past what the entity that supports us has done to support the athletes involved, right? But, I mean, whatever. I'm sure there's bodies buried in the NFL's backyard, right, with CTE. There's bodies buried in baseball's backyard. They're everywhere. Yeah, they're everywhere, right? We're, like you said, we don't want to get too political. We want to keep to sports. And, yeah, obviously I jest, but we both know people on every side based on the nature of what we used to do for a career. And it sucks to see these golfers tangled up in it because, like you said, it seems to be you have to be on one side or the other, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what it's seeming like right now. I mean, like in my friends chat, like because I have a bunch of golfing friends, we always talk about LIV, and it's like two of them are like on board with the LIV, and then like me and my other friend, we are like completely like 100% against LIV, and think it's fucking terrible, like on all accounts. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for me. I am for golf free agency. I want to be clear. Like, I believe, golfers should be allowed. I mean, they're their own economy in today's world, as most people are of a certain stature, right? With social media being what it is, and advertisement dollars and sponsors. I think even the UFC, like now that it has competition, I hope soon from PFL and Bellator and Bare Knuckle Fighting League. That their fighters will start to get paid better, even though Dana White came out and said fighters will never get paid better under him. And I'm like, you know what, you fat slob Guido, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, pay people what they're owed as you drive around in BMWs on the Ultimate Fighter that haven't even been released yet. Like, these people are putting themselves on. They're the ones making you the money.
Yeah, and they're the ones getting hurt.
Yeah, they're the ones that need this type of care. So when it comes to free agency, all for it, but I'm not for the LIV Golf tournament. And they've recently bumped up their roster, right? With, like we talked about, Brooks Koepka went over. Did some other people go over as well?
Well, we'll kind of see once the FedEx playoffs are done right now, because there's a lot of rumors that Cam Smith, who won the Open Championship or the British Open.
The Aussie, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that he's going to go over, that he's already signed, and that he just hasn't announced it so he can play in the PGA Tour playoffs, basically, which is kind of fucking shitty if you ask me. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that might be a page turner. The page might be turned if Cam Smith goes over, because he's young. He's young and up and coming.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Before that, Brooks Koepka was the young up and coming star that they had signed. But now it appears
2 years.
Yeah, but he's hurt, right?
Injuries. Yeah, he's had injuries. So
he's got the Tiger Woods thing going on, doesn't he? Where he hits the ball so hard and he's so big and strong that he's just breaking his own body.
A little bit. I figure that's more like Bryson, but Bryson's like taking it to another level.
Look, Bryson de douchebag. I don't care. Bryson's all talk. Bryson will never do anything. He's never going to win. He's going to go to LIV. Or he is in LIV. Is he in LIV?
He is in LIV, yeah.
Yeah, because he can't make money on the tour because he sucks. Yeah. Like, he hits the ball real far, but that's it.
Yeah, he's not very
good. You know, and I'm sure he took steroids. I'm sure he did.
Oh, probably.
Have you seen when people really break down the before and after pictures of Bryson DeChambeau?
Yeah.
Before he went,
Yeah, who's skinny and now he's just massive.
Yeah, we went from DeChambeau to DeChambro.
Yeah.
And now he's the sham douche. No, go ahead. So, I've been more interested in golf as I've been out here. I'm not a good golfer, as you know. I'm pretty terrible.
Have you played since you've been out there?
No, but I'm going to get lessons, right?
There you go.
I'm starting the master's program out here, but I'm going to get some lessons. I'm really interested in it, and it seems really zen, right, to be able to do that stuff and go out there. Yeah. You use it as an excuse to drink, I know.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
The real reason to golf.
Yeah. Any excuse I
But
get to drink, I'll take it.
I do think, and I do think it's a different way of moving your body too, like getting yourself situated. It's a different type of sport, right? It's a different type of
Especially for
movement.
a beef stick like you.
Yeah. I feel like you just called me a dick, but I appreciate
Called you a
it.
beef stick.
Maybe maybe synonyms. Now we're deep into the baseball season, and because this is probably the last time we're going to talk about baseball in a long time, because we're on to the sports that we care about, which is football season, both college and
Rest
NFL.
in peace, baseball.
Sorry, baseball, you had us for a couple months. I'm sure if the Mariners make a run into the playoffs, we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But they cooled off, right? They cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, but they're not doing too bad. They're like 500 right now, or like ever since the All-Star break, and they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, but then they also lost 2 out of 3 to the Rangers, so it's like it all evens out. But yeah, they're currently number 1 in the wild card standings, so that's good, but not by a lot. It's very thin margin. So
Played themselves right into the playoff chase.
yeah, we'll see.
You know what's wild about that division? As you know, I'm an Oakland A's fan. Pretty much all Oakland everything except for the Las Vegas Aces and Las Vegas. Well, I'm a Kraken fan, but and the Las Vegas Raiders. But what's wild about that division is the Angels. I can't wrap my mind around the Angels, right? Because Shohei Ohtani is insane. He's an unworldly athlete. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what planet he came from to be able to do what he can do, but once in a generation. And what's odd to me is that he's teamed with another once in a generation player, right? In Mike Trout. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think he got hit by the same radiation that Godzilla did.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's insane. He's just a freak. He's an athlete that shows us that baseball still has athletes.
Right.
And then you got Mike Trout on the same team, and they're in the division with the Mariners and the A's, and that team is just shit. They're so bad.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Wait, did you say the Mariners and the A's? Don't put us in there. No, Rangers and A's, they're garbage.
No. They're the Angels are in the same division as the Mariners and the A's.
I thought you were trying to say these shitty teams. I was like, well, hey there, calm down. The Mariners aren't shitty this year. They're just okay.
Doing good. And the Yankees have cooled off, so maybe they won't break your record, right?
Yeah.
the wins record.
The Dodgers are heating up, though.
So are the Mets. I was going to say, you got the Blue Bloods in the Dodgers and the Yankees both being very, very good. But now here come the Mets. They're very good. The Orioles, the Mariners. So it's going to be an interesting race to the end. Don't
forget about the Indians. Oh, wait, sorry, the Guardians.
The Guardians. I mean, is the Guardians worse than the Commanders? Like, obviously the names had to be changed, right? Because we're in a different world now where you have to be culturally correct. And that's fine. But which name is worse, the Commanders or the Guardians?
I think they're all kind of cheesy.
They're pretty bad. I feel like with the former Washington team, they had a great chance to be the Red Tails, which is a historic group of African American pilots that just wrecked shop for the United States. And instead of going that route, they went with the Commanders, which is just it's odd.
I think it's funny though that like both of the like Native American team names, when they switched, they went to something like military focused.
What is a Guardian? What is that? What is a Guardian?
Someone who protects, just like the military.
You've seen their symbol, right? You've seen their symbol for the Guardians?
Yeah.
So their logo kind of looks like it's angels in the outfield. It looks like a G with angel wings. Like, I want to go to a game and be like, believe you can do it.
Wrong team there, bud.
It's so goofy. What's that?
It's the wrong team there.
No, I understand that, right? I understand that. But look at the logo. Look at the logo. So what's funny about baseball, too, and we may circle back, crowd. We may come back in a couple weeks if the Mariners are in the race. The A's are out of it. So I'm kind of checked out. I can't watch a game for 8 hours in one day and know that they're out of it. But
I mean, the A's are one of the worst teams in the league. So
yeah, I mean, it's weird to be tanking in a sport where the odds of your pick being great are so low, right?
yeah,
They're
and
so,
you're not going to get use out of them immediately. You have to wait like 3 years.
yeah. It's insane, right? You can't. I don't know. I would always be in win now mode. But what's funny about that is we had a take a while back, right, when it came to steroids, and a very famous lady by the name of Paige Spiranak screwed it up. I had it in the production meeting. I screwed it up. But Paige agrees with us.
An Instagram bot.
Paige Spiranak, Paige Spiranak agrees with us, and she posted on Instagram and Twitter stating that she thinks steroids should be allowed, and we want to see these people at their peak. And I agree. That was the funnest. That was the only time I was invested in baseball.
Want to see him hitting home runs. Want to see
Yeah.
him hitting home runs, and like she said, Pete Rose, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. 100%.
Yeah, I want to see Hercules and Thor go up to the plate and try to friggin' hit it to Asgard. Okay?
Goddamn right.
I want to see what's that?
So goddamn right.
Yeah, just go up there and do it. Have them be so big you can't fit the sleeves over their damn arms. Cut the sleeves off like the Savannah Bananas.
Just rip them off.
Yeah, that should be your walkout, right? We've got great walkout music for closing pitchers, but I want the batters to walk up to the plate and just rip their sleeves off and unveil.
I want to see them walking out there with a giant fucking can of dip, just spitting in the cup and then setting it down at home plate when they go to bat.
You know what? Screw it. Just let them walk up with the needle still in the arm.
Yeah.
Just let them do it.
Who cares?
But, yeah, just vascular, just totally pumped up, like we're watching the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. Just like, like Blitz.
Who cares? Who
like
cares?
NFL
It's their body.
Jacked. Yeah.
All right. Look, as long as it's not the Texas Rangers or anywhere in Ohio, most teams should believe that the male has autonomy over his body. His body has choice, just like it should be her body, her choice. But we're not going to
make them skip leg day, so they're just fucking all upper body.
No, you gotta just like golf, man. It comes from your booty. That swing comes from the booty. But yeah, so she agreed with us, and I thought that was pretty awesome that we talked about that weeks and weeks ago, and that she came out in support of us. I didn't know she was a listener, but now we know.
Yeah.
And yes, I did drop into the comments on that tweet and let everyone know, hey, we talked about this about 4 weeks ago.
All right.
Tune in if you would like to see how we handled this exact same topic 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I do understand she's doing it in reference to the Tatis penalty, the 80-game suspension, which was super funny. I know it's stupid. It's very stupid because I really wanted to see that team, right? That team looks so exciting with Machado, with Darvish, with Soto, and Tatis in the middle of the lineup. I mean, that team probably had a chance to take out the Dodgers, right, with that lineup.
Yeah.
But sadly, we will not get to see that until next year and pretty far into next year. I think he's suspended something like 36 games into next year as well. So it's stupid. It's lame. I think that it's funny that the ESPN booth went and got Alex Rodriguez's thoughts on this. Because I mean, like, if I asked you outside of being a Mariner, what do you remember Alex Rodriguez for, Wes?
I mean, being a douchebag and doing roids.
Lots of them. Lots and lots of steroids. Oh, yeah, and then, of course, that awkward moment in Men's Fitness where he kissed himself in the mirror. That was pretty weird.
I don't remember that, and I'm glad I don't. I don't think I ever saw that.
You don't want to Google the pictures?
No, I'm good.
Oh, the stuff of nightmares. The stuff of nightmares. I'm
good. It's early, but I still want to sleep tonight.
Yeah. You don't need to see Alex Rodriguez tonguing himself?
No, I'm good.
I do think it's funny that also they had him talk to Jeter, and those two notoriously hate each other, right? And they had Jeter is there because he has to do it, right? The most boring baseball player ever. And I'll never watch the Derek Jeter documentary. I'm never going to watch it. You know why? Because I know how it goes. I was the best because I needed to be the best. I never did anything back. I didn't hand out gift bags to all the women I slept with in New York. Yes, you did. And we all would much rather hear about that than your stupid baseball regimen. I'm tired of the people that are like, this is exactly what I want to hear.
Well, I didn't we talk about that, him getting on Twitter to promote his stuff? Yeah. And he actually opened up.
Did he?
Yeah. He was like making jokes and stuff like that. Probably the first joke he's made in years, but
yeah, I haven't seen anything since.
Yeah.
On Twitter. Cool, you got on Twitter to promote your shitty documentary. Awesome. Right. Hey kids, just be me and you'll go out there and win. It's like, shut up. What a tool. I'm sorry, he's a bag of tools. I'll leave it alone. He's a bag of tools, much like another bag of tools that used to be your quarterback. And for some reason, and I think it's to make fun of him, his meme, or he has become a meme, pardon me, and the meme is taking people by storm because he got out of a truck that was really, everybody was trying to say it's BDE, and I was like, I think it was SDE because he's compensating for something with that truck. But he got out, and he had somebody obviously take a picture of him because who can throw their phone 70 yards in front of them as they walk out of their car, right? And it takes a picture.
That truck is pretty fucking beefy, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but it's definitely SDE. It's not BDE. I don't look at that and be like, that guy's probably got a huge package.
I mean, but if you're making millions like him, why not just get a freaking military Humvee, right? Why not?
But like, why?
Because you can. That's why.
Just because you can?
Yeah.
Like when Ashton Kutcher bought the Big Mac truck that he used to drive around.
Move, bitch, get out the way.
Well, the tagline to that tweet was, let's ride. And I'm like, you cannot be more of a square.
I mean,
you can't.
He was a square with the Seahawks, and we all kind of loved him for it. So, I mean, I'm not going to judge him. I'm sad he's not on the team, and I hope we beat the shit out of him come the first game of the season. But
oh God,
I'm not going to turn my back on him and just like roast him for the same shit he did with the Seahawks being corny.
So, a couple things there. Which quarterback are the Seahawks going to use to beat the shit out of the Broncos?
Shut up.
Because I don't know. They could use old Dino that says he was never allowed to be a starter because he was black, forgetting that at one point he was a starter as recently as last season.
I don't know. I mean, we don't have a running back. Chris Carson retired. We don't really have a quarterback. So, good for him for retiring. I mean,
that injury was bad.
No, I mean, he got out like when he realized he needed to preserve his health. So he made his money, and good for him. But, I mean, we're probably not going to beat him, but one can dream.
I hope so. As a Raiders fan. I think the Broncos are wildly overrated every single year for some reason, right? And then the Broncos fans came at me and they're like, well, let me tell you something. We haven't had a losing season and blah, blah. I was like, you're right. Those Brock Osweiler years were great. Those Brian Greasy years were amazing. How about when you had Jake Plummer?
Tim Tebow years.
I'm like, why don't you read my actual tweet, loser? My actual tweet was the only time the Broncos were actually relevant was when they had John Elway or Peyton Manning. Every other year, they're not relevant. They don't matter. They're not going to win anything. Okay? No one thinks they're going to win anything.
Who knows? Maybe Geno Smith is going to remind us all why he was like picked in the second round.
Well, now he's got to back up that comment. I
mean, maybe he's going to like just ball out and throw like 4 touchdowns to DK Metcalf, and we're just going to dunk on the Broncos and surprise everyone.
Now that's someone I want to see on steroids. That is somebody I'd like to see. I want to see
Metcalf. How big can he get any bigger?
He is huge. Like, how athletic can that man be on steroids?
I mean, he already has like 3% body fat.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about with Russell Wilson is, has there ever been a player that's on-field style of play has contrasted the way they act in public more than Russell Wilson?
No.
No, right? It can't
He's
be.
always been a goody little two shoes.
Well, isn't that why the defense hated him? Isn't that why the defense couldn't stand Russell Wilson?
I don't know. I mean, there was rumors and stuff like that, but I mean,
put your name on it, Wes. Put it out there. Is that why they hated him or not?
I don't know. I know apparently there was beef with like Richard Sherman and some of the other players, but I mean, the offensive players loved him. So,
Who wins in a fist fight, Richard Sherman or Russell Wilson?
oh, Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman's
You
too
think?
good. Yeah, Richard Sherman would fuck him up.
it'd be game over for Russ.
Yeah.
I
I honestly don't think Russell Wilson has ever been in a fight.
No, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. But the funny thing about the Russell Wilson thing is a lot of people are coming back to this. Russell Wilson came out of nowhere. Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you pay attention to sports. And maybe it's just me and you being both Big Ten and Pac guys because of the Rose Bowl. But, like, I knew Russell Wilson was a good quarterback. I knew he was a good quarterback. I knew it. Right, I knew he got picked in the 3rd round because he was like 26 years old when he came out.
Yeah,
he wasn't 26, but I think he was like 24 years old, right?
Well, I went to the Rose Bowl, Oregon versus Wisconsin down in LA, his last college football game, and he was incredible. And I was like, this motherfucker's gonna beat us. But I mean, we got lucky. It was a close game. Oregon won, and but yeah, I was like, this guy's good. And then when we picked him up, I was like, all right, let's see what he does. And he turned out to get us a Super Bowl, so I got love for the guy.
Should have been 2. They should have taken the ball out of his hands, but we don't need to get into that.
Fuck you. I will log off this second.
I will not bring up that you contributed to 7 Super Bowls for Tom Brady ever again.
The GOAT.
I hate it, man. I hate it. I mean, I hate that I have to like him.
It could have been 8. It could have been 8. He almost had the Rams.
He's been all over. I don't know. I fear Tom Brady more than I fear any quarterback in the history of watching football. I fear Tom Brady. And I'm man enough to admit it. I can admit that. I fear Tom Brady. When we're on the subject of the NFL, though, I've got to say this. I already said it last week. It's preseason. I do not care about preseason at all. I don't care. The only thing I care about is how do my rookies look? How does the offensive line look? What are the injuries like? That's it. Yeah. That's all I care about, right? So do you share that opinion, or do you waver a little bit? Do you care?
I mean, I won't watch a full game. I might, like, turn it on, like, in the first quarter, depending on, like, who they're starting. But other than that, yeah, I really don't care. I don't put much stock into who wins and who loses these preseason games because it doesn't fucking matter.
No, I think the last...
I mean, Super Bowl teams have went 0-3 in the preseason, and then it's like some of the worst teams went 3-0 in the preseason. So it's like it doesn't matter.
I think there was a stupid stat that those Ravens haven't lost a preseason game in like 25 games, and the tweet was, "Can they keep it going?" And I was like, "Who cares? The games don't count."
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Congratulations, you won the preseason.
Let me know when they win a game that actually matters in the playoffs.
How about you sign one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in years? How about you do that, Ravens, and not worry about your preseason record? How about you sign Lamar Jackson?
Right.
But outside of that, I do think that there is going to be a very fun division for the first time in a long time. I think that the AFC East is actually going to be a fairly fun division because outside of the Buffalo Bills, I think any one of the other 3 teams could be a pretty good team. Like the Patriots, we don't know, right? They got, for some reason, Matt Patricia, who was famously a defensive coordinator, running their offense now. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
We do a sports show here, Wes.
Really? Is that what this is? I had no fucking clue. Thanks, bud.
But yeah, so it's weird that they haven't run the offense. But what's funny is I want the audience to look up Matt Jones' comments on Matt Patricia and the offense and how he's talked about how the offense is absolutely terrible and it's leading to nothing. Like he's so disappointed in the offense, and I just feel bad for him after reading his quotes. But I like the Dolphins. I do. I don't know why. Perhaps it's Tua sympathy. I think everybody's burying Tua already. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think he's had a chance to shine. I think his offensive line's terrible. What do you think?
See. I think this year is like kind of his do or die year. I feel like he's got to step it up this year if he wants the paycheck.
Yeah, I was also sad to hear about Zach Wilson's injury, but happy to hear that it was just a bruise and an MCL sprain because I was worried his ACL. What was that?
I said, yeah, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, because that ACL, I would have been sad because after he slept with his mom's friend, I was like, man, I got to see this guy on the field again. Let's give him another shot.
Right.
And he's got some weapons, right? So the Jets look good, or look like they could be good. The only team I think is going to be at the bottom of the pack again is, of course, our famous Jaguars. I don't see them doing anything again.
So I think you're giving the Jets too much credit. I think the Jets are going to Jets.
Yeah, but have you seen the roster? The roster is pretty stacked. They got a pretty stacked roster.
That doesn't mean shit.
That's fair. That's fair. I always fall back to when the Eagles won the offseason years ago when Vince Young said that this was a super team or the dream team.
Yeah.
And then they won like 6 games.
Right. I think they'll be better than last year, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay, that's fair. I think they're going to go, what do you think, 8-9? I think 8-9 for the Jets is fair.
I'll go 7-10.
Oh, you're okay. Price is right.
6-11. Fuck you.
You Price is right. If you don't do that to me, that's exactly what you did. I went first, and you went 1 game below me.
Hold on. 1 game is a lot. Okay, 1 game is the difference between not making the playoffs and making the playoffs. Okay?
1 game is a lot. I think 1 game is 1. What that?
If the New York Giants lost 1 more game, they wouldn't have made the playoffs and beat the Patriots.
That's fair. And I think it was against the Packers that they won the regular season game, and then they went into the playoffs and beat the Packers again.
Yeah.
I think that's how that season went down.
1 game is a lot.
And I think that was one of the best Packers team we'd seen in a long time, too. I think that was one of Brett Favre's last hurrah seasons with the Packers. I don't know. I'm excited about this year. Unfortunately, I think your Seahawks are tanking. I think you guys are going to get one of the quarterbacks, though. Well, I mean, like, you're making that face, but I think you guys are going to get one of these
Well, this might be Pete's last year. We'll see.
Yeah, but he's 70 years old, man. He looks great,
he's old.
By the way.
Yeah.
Did you see him sprint down the sideline in that preseason?
Great shape. Speaking of 70-year-olds, so I ran Spartan race this weekend, and there was this 77-year-old who was doing the 13-mile run. Mm-hmm. And
what's that called for the Spartan fans? It's called the what?
The Spartan Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she was doing this, and it was like a super uphill, like steep part, and like she was slowing everyone down, but she was like, "Sorry guys, I'm 77 years old. I'm going a bit slow," because it was like through the brush, and so there wasn't anywhere to go, and she was holding everybody up. But like once everyone got to the top, everyone was like, "Dude, you're killing it. You're 77. Yeah. Don't feel bad about holding people up."
Yeah,
that's what this is all about.
You're out here crushing it.
Yeah.
So
I was like, "You're my inspiration." At 77, I want to be doing this.
That's amazing, and that totally threw me off where I was going with that point. But that's okay. That's a heartwarming story for all of the listeners.
Yeah.
I will say, the Seahawks I think are playing for one of these great quarterbacks that are coming out. But what I do not agree with is C.J. Stroud. I do not think C.J. Stroud is going to be good. I cannot think of an Ohio State quarterback that has been good in the last 15 years in the NFL. Okay, R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins, but he wasn't a great quarterback in the NFL. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to disparage the man. He's passed, but he was a first round pick, and he was by most accounts a very good person. And all I'm saying is on the NFL side, I'm being very careful with my words. On the NFL side, he never was what he was supposed to be. And then, do you remember Troy Smith?
Well, I mean, to Dwayne Haskins, he still had some time ahead of him. I think he could have turned it around.
He might have the Steelers starting job. You never know. But Troy Smith, terrible, right? Never got to do anything in the NFL. Never made it. No. We don't know anything about Justin Fields yet, but you remember Braxton Miller ended up having to go to receiver, right?
Miller.
JT Barrett, I've never heard of him.
Cardell
Jones, terrible, right? So Justin Fields, we don't know enough about.
Terrence Pryor, I think. Was it
Terrell.
Terrence Pryor? Yeah,
Terrell
Pryor.
Pryor.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Tattoo.
Yeah.
Captain
See, I can't
Tattoo.
even remember his name now.
Dude, all these Terrell Pryor must look at Ohio State and be like, "Y'all kicked me out of school for getting a tattoo for free, and now these kids get millions of dollars."
Oh, I know.
Like if I was Terrell Pryor, I'd be like, "This is some bullshit."
It is.
But yes, none of them have been good quarterbacks. None of them. So I'm sitting here and I'm watching C.J. Stroud, and it looks like he's in almost the exact same system. I didn't think he was good last year. He didn't impress me at all. And I'm like, I don't see it. And he's supposed to be better than Bryce Young. And I'm just like, no, I just don't see it. I mean, are you with me on this Ohio State thing? Because it seems like it's an Ohio State bias. And I'm just saying, look at the stats. They're never good.
I wasn't with you at first, but I think you had me convinced.
Okay. With all the
you
names.
and your yelling and all of the names you're spitting out. Yeah. I'll go with it.
I was offended by the yelling, but you have to admit, like I named some factual things there with all those people. Like nothing.
Good argument.
They've done nothing. So I'm not behind CJ Stroud. I mean, I hope the kid's good. I'm also not. Let me be very clear. I like Justin Fields. I'm not behind the Justin Fields bashing. I like Justin Fields. I think he's a really good quarterback, or has potential to be a really good quarterback. I think he's in a really terrible situation in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Ohio State's more about their wide receivers. I mean, let's be real. They have so much riches at wide receiver.
Defensive end, too, man. Joey, Nick Bosa, Chase Young.
Well, I mean, even in the draft, they had like 3 wide receivers taken in the first round or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Ohio State's been a factory lately. They just can't do it in the playoff.
Yeah.
But speaking of playoffs, the WNBA has made its way into the postseason, and one of your local greats, is going to be leaving after these playoffs.
Yeah, Sue Bird. Sue Bird played her last regular season home game at Climate Pledge Arena, formerly Key Arena, and they sold it out. 18,000 for a WNBA game, which is super cool. Her last home game, her last regular season home game, because she's retiring at the end of this year, and they have a playoff game here coming up soon, here in Seattle. So that'll be another sellout. So good luck to them. But yeah.
That's great. I mean, she's a legend. Absolutely. Broken multiple records in the WNBA. And if honestly, it's not fair to her, because if we covered her sport like we cover some of the other male sports, one, they would have all the advertisements. I hate that, because you just said they sold out the arena, right? Yeah. Don't tell me people don't want to watch these players play. I'm so sick of hearing that argument, right? The Women's World Cup was one of the highest-rated soccer games in the world. Just recently, the Euros, when England won the championship, that was the highest-rated television program of the year in England. Okay, wow. Don't tell me people don't want to watch women play. That's baloney. You know, right. That's bullshit. All right, that's a masculinity excuse.
There you go.
To not treat these women with fairness and respect because you're jealous of how great they are. That's the truth. It's Putin penis men that can't give them credit. But yeah, Sue Bird's phenomenal. Her wife, I think, they're married now. Megan Rapinoe is amazing. They're a power couple in Seattle, and good for her, and good for her for being in the playoffs. I do hope though that she doesn't win the championship, because my Las Vegas Aces are also in, and yes, there's a Raiders tie.
Go ahead. Your Las Vegas Aces.
You want the swan song for Sue Bird. You want her to go out on top. But I've been rooting for Kelsey Plum since she went to your alma mater, right? UW.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a famous UW because she holds the scoring record in NCAA basketball for the women. So which Oregon Sabrina Ionesco was I don't think she would have broken the scoring record, but she would have set her records of her own if she had been allowed to finish her season. But I'm rooting for Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, and the Aces to win. But great story with Sue Bird. Great story seeing Breanna Stewart on the Seattle team, on the Seattle Storm, coming back from her Achilles injury and being able to play like she's been all year. They're facing a tough opponent, right, in the Washington Miskets. Biscuit for your biscuit. The Washington Mystics. What the hell? Missed opportunity, Washington. The muskets. Oh goodness, I guess you can't because it connotes guns, and
Yeah.
we're not good at those in America.
No.
But yeah, no, that would have been funny. But yeah, the Washington Mystics and Elena Deladon. I don't think she's injured any longer. I think she's playing. So that'll be a good series. I look forward to watching it. And I hope the audience is looking forward to watching us for the weeks coming now that the internet is back up in England and we are here to stay and we are coming at you fast and furious.
I'm so
Go
glad
ahead.
you were able to get internet in your third world country of
I know.
England.
I know. It was pretty wild. It was pretty hard. I had to dig my own trench, build fiber in my garage. Right? It was like putting together the Iron Man suit. I still don't have electricity in my garage, though. My landlord says there's a way to get electricity into the garage. I just haven't found it. So I'll keep searching for that electricity in the garage, get that home gym built. It is rough. It's a rough life. I don't know what it's...
I mean, do you need electricity for a home gym?
I do to vacuum out all the dirt and the spiders because it's like a
It's
really
called an
gross
extension cord.
Yes, and that is the next step. That is the next step is to get the extension cord and run it all the way out to the garage. But I really appreciate you all. Stick with us. You can reach me at The Sad Fan on Twitter, or you can reach us at The Sad Fan Pod, as always. You can drop into our DMs on our YouTube videos. We will always respond. Sometimes it takes a moment. I apologize. But we are all working multiple jobs to keep this coming, to keep this pumped up, and to continue the production. Wes, where can they reach you?
I don't have social media.
Oh, that's right. He has a Twitter somewhere, but you have to find it. And he said he will Venmo you $100. So next time we see you, we're going to be deeper into the preseason because it's still preseason. So relax, everyone. It's not regular season yet. But thank you again for joining us on The Sad Fan, and we hope you come back.
Thanks, guys.
Remember, rate, subscribe, review, follow.